So look, you're making cold emails harder for yourself for no reason at all. Hear me out. I've been using cold emails for the past 2 years to get results like this and this for my clients. And I've also gotten over 1,200 positive responses to my cold emails in the past year alone. And in this video, I want to break down why your cold emails aren't working and why you're making it harder on yourself to get results with it. Let's hop right into it. So, there's primarily two main reasons why your cold emails are not working. And these two reasons are two of the most likely causes, but under each cause, there's also other mini causes that could make your cold emails not work. And I'll get into more of what those mini causes are, but I just want you to understand that there's two most likely causes as to why your cold emails aren't working. And another thing you have to understand is it could be one of these causes or a mixture of all two or both or whatever it may be. So it could just be one or it could be all, it could be a mixture of like all these other many things that you might have depending on these few metrics. And I'll go over the two main metrics that I want you to look out for when you're trying to figure out and diagnose what's wrong with my cold emails. So the first thing I want you to do if you think that your cold emails aren't working is look at the response rate. So if you're getting less than a 1% response rate on your cold emails, more than likely they're not being delivered or they're landing in spam. More than likely. And I'll go over a few fixes on how to actually fix those problems for you here. But the first thing that I want you to do is take a look at this metric. What is my response rate? If I'm sending out 100 emails, am I getting at least one response per 100 emails being sent out? And it doesn't even have to be like a positive response. It can just be not interested. It could be, yeah, hey, don't email me again. It could be, hey, I'm out the office. It could be, hey, let's meet up. So it doesn't have to be a positive response. We're not focusing on that right now. We're more so focusing on, hey, is this even being sent out in the first place? Is it being delivered in the primary inbox? Are people actually viewing this email and replying to it in the first place? So that's the first thing I want you to look at, right? Take a look at the response rate and diagnose if the emails are being delivered at all. And most sending tools, like SmartLead, Instantly, whatnot, they'll have the response rate of the campaign right then and there, so you can just calculate it. Is this email being sent out or is it not? So if you have a less than a 1% response rate, what you need to do and understand is that your email account or your domain is burnt or it's landing in spam. So the quickest fix to actually solve this problem, and this depending on the capital that you have and depending on how much money you're willing to invest in cold email, this will be the quickest fix. The quickest fix is for those email accounts that are in that campaign, just replace it. Like that's the easiest fix you could do. Buy a new domain, set up new email accounts, and then connect them back to a campaign. Obviously, warm them up again, but that would be the easiest fix you could do right off the bat. Now, for some of you, it might not be, you might not have the capital, or you're like, oh, this is a little bit tedious, and I don't want to do all this, which I understand. I'll get into other things you can do as well, but I'm letting you know right now, if your emails are landing in spam or your domain is burnt or whatever it may be, the easiest fix that you can do is just replace it right then and there, because it takes away the guessing game. You're not guessing, okay, is this email burnt, or is it the domain? Is it because I'm blacklisted? Is it because of my copy? Like, the easiest thing you can do instantly, just replace the domain, replace the email. It's super easy. You can just do that, right? But we'll get into more on how to diagnose this, right? But more than likely, if you have less than 1% reply rate, either you're landing in spam with their copy or your email accounts and domain is burnt. And the easiest thing you can do if your email accounts and domain is burnt is just replace it. So if you're landing in spam, though, what you can do is switch up the copy. So more than likely, if you're landing in spam, you are probably not sending out good emails. You're probably sending out horrible emails that sounds automated, that sounds like it's not even relevant to the person, and you're just not sending out good emails. So the way you can fix this is you want to keep your emails short, less than 75 words. You want to get to the point. You want to keep it short. No one wants to read an entire paragraph MLA format essay, and keep it short, keep it simple, And you also don't want to use links or images in the email itself. So what you have to understand is that when you send links out in the email, there's be a little tracker, or Google or Microsoft will start thinking that, okay, you're phishing people, or phishing people, or sending out spam messages, or you're sending out a virus, whatever it may be. So to actually solve this problem, do not send out any links or images in the email itself. So what I mean by that is, when you have, let's say, 3,000 leads in an email campaign, and if you're sending out links and images in those 3,000 leads, you will more than likely go to spam because, like I said, 3,000 emails that you're sending out, and Microsoft is like, okay, this guy is sending out images and links, send him to spam, right? Or like, this guy's not good. Let's block his account, whatever it may be. So don't send out links or images because it's not good for you. Now, if it's one-on-one, like let's say you get a positive response, and the guy's like, hey, can you send me a link to your website, or hey, can you send me a link to your portfolio or your case study, or whatever it may be, then yeah, you can send out a link. That's one-on-one. But if it's one-to-many, like 3,000, 2,000 leads, don't send out any links, don't send out any images, and just play it safe, right? There's a setting both on Smart Lead and Instantly where you can send in a plain text mode, right? What that will do is it'll get rid of all links, it'll get rid of all images, and it'll only send text messages, right? And even in the signature. So a lot of you, what you might be doing right now is, okay, you might not be sending links off the bat, you might not be sending images, but a lot of you might have a signature in your bio, or in your outro, where it's like, hey, book a time on my calendar, right? Or like, it'll say like your names, so like Best, Aryan, CEO, Gamic Media, and then like a schedule a meeting button or a let's chat button that hyperlinks to your calendar. You do not want to do that. You will book some meetings from that. Like, I guarantee you, you will book some meetings from that. But again, it's a link. You still have a link in your email, and you're sending out mass emails to 3,000 people, 4,000 people. So it's not good for you. Don't use links or images in your email itself. Even if it's in your signature, don't use it. You will book some meetings, yes, but it'll end up hurting you in the long run because you will keep having to replace your email accounts over and over and over again because you're sending out links in the video or in the email. So that's the second thing. The third thing is use spin tags. So what ends up happening here is that if you send the same message to all these leads, Microsoft and Google will catch on. So what I mean is, okay, you change let's say one person's name that you're emailing is John, the other person's name is James. Obviously, you change the names in the greetings in the intro, right? But the body itself, if the body itself is the same, and if you're saying the same thing, then Microsoft and Google and catch on will be like, okay, well, this guy is, he's sending the same message, but just to a different person, like spam. We're gonna put him in spam. So the way to actually counteract this is use a thing called spin tags. And basically, this is what spin tags looks like: is you're basically sending the same message, just formatted differently, right? So instead of just saying "Hey John" or "Hello John," you're gonna be sending either "Hi," "Hello," or "Hey," right? So instead of just saying one thing, you're using two other words or message that you're going to be sending out to other people. So, for example, instead of saying "Hey John" and then "Hey James" in the next email, you could be saying "Hey John" and "Hello James," and you could do this for the entire body. I should have put more of a picture here, but I just wanted to give a simple example. But you can do this for the entire body, right? You could do this for, instead of saying instead of just saying, "Hey, our cold email infrastructure will book you 10 meetings a month," you could also say, "Using our cold email infrastructure, you will get 10 meetings a month, 10 meetings a month booked on your calendar." And it's just a different way of saying the exact same thing. And this might seem like, okay, well, do I really have to do this? You might think like that. And I was like that I was on the fence like that for a while. But trust me, this helps a ton, especially when you're sending at scale. Because when you start sending at scale, you will notice that, okay, I'm ending up with spam more, or I have to watch what I say in my messaging. When you're sending out, like, let's say 100 emails a day, maybe 50 emails a day, whatever it may be, these little things are not as important. But when you start sending like 500 a day, 600 a day, 700 a day, upwards up to 1,000 a day, you will notice that, okay, I'm landing up at spam more. Like, I wonder why. And these are some of the reasons why. So use spin tags like this, and you should be fine, right? So to kind of summarize here, keep your emails short. You know, if you're landing in spam and you know that you're landing spam, keep your email short. Keep it no less than 75 words. Don't use links or images, and use spin tags. More than likely, those three things will get you out the spam filter, along with following all the other stuff. But that's just mostly it in terms of copy and landing up a spam. The other thing, if your email account and if you're having a less than 1% reply rate, is again the easiest thing you could do here is just replace your domain and email account, because if you do it that way, it's a fresh account, it's a fresh domain, it hasn't sent out any emails, and you'll be totally fine. I've already spoken on that, so I'm not gonna harp on this for too much longer, but that's the easiest way to fix all this. But if you wanna, if you don't want to go through the tedious work of having to do all that, you could also put it on warm up for 2 weeks before sending it out, which is what I recommend for all of you, sending out cold emails. Because if you don't put it on warm up and you immediately start sending out 20, 25 messages a day, Google and Outlook and Google and Microsoft will be like, okay, well, this guy just bought his email account and he's sending out all these messages a day. Like, what is this? This guy's clearly a spammer. Let's put him in a spam filter, right? So warm up for 2 weeks before sending out any type of cold emails, and then verify the leads. A lot of people, again, these sound like all basic stuff. A lot of people aren't really doing all of this and don't know all of this, right? So if you don't know about verifying leads, what you have to understand is these databases that you pull from, whether it's Apollo, whether it's ZoomInfo, whether it's Ocean, whether it's Outscraper, whatever it may be, those emails that you get, only about 50 to 60 or 70% of those emails are valid. So if you pull a lead list of 10,000 people, only 5,000 to 7,000 of those are valid. The rest of those 3,000 or 5,000, they could be invalid, and if you send to those emails, you will end up in spam. So that's why you verify the leads before sending out any emails. And that's also the reason why I have it here. Verify your leads. Use Million Verifier. Use dbounce, whatever it may be. And verify your leads before sending out any type of email, and obviously warm up for 2 weeks. So now that you know what to do and how to actually fix this low response rate problem, you might be like, okay, Arian, well, it could be, I don't even know where to start. Like, is it because my emails are too long, or is it because my domain is bad? Like, how do I solve all this? Don't worry, I got you covered, because down here is basically a test that you can run on SmartLead to solve all this. I believe the first test or so is free, and you can just go ahead, test it out. So what this will do is, this is called Smart Delivery. It's a feature on SmartLead where you can see, okay, hey, how many of my emails are landing in inbox? How many are landing in spam? Am I on a spam filter score? Am I DNS bad? Do I have email authentication report? Am I on any blacklist? And you can just take a look at this and be like, okay, well, it looks like my spam score is like 5 or 10. So clearly, I think it's a copy issue. I don't think it's a domain issue. So let me just change the copy. Let me make it less than 75 words. Let me add spin text in the copy itself. Let me, just make it shorter, make it easier to read. That way, and also no links or images. I forgot. I was gonna say, my bad. But let me just adjust all these things, and the copy should be fine, right? And just run through the test again, and you should be fine. Or if it's like, oh, hey, like it looks like these emails are landing in spam and they're burnt because I'm on this blacklist, and it looks like my DNS is bad, right? Let me actually go ahead and replace these email accounts. That way I can actually send out the emails and not land in spam, right? So you can just run this test on SmartLead, and from there you'll be able to gauge, okay, is it like if it's like a spam thing where your copy is bad, it'll be here. If it's more so like a domain and email thing, it'll be here, right? So run this test on SmartLead, and like I said, it's free with the SmartLead plan. I believe the first test or two is free, and you'll be able to see, is it like a spam thing with the copy, or is it like my email and domain is burnt? And from there you can gauge on how to go about this issue, right? And like I said, follow these to not land in spam and get above a 1% reply rate. Once you let's say if you do replace these email accounts, make sure you run through this, and from now on follow these guidelines. That way you don't end up landing in spam, right? So that's what you do if your response rate in less than 1%, and that's how you solve and diagnose your cold email problem. Like I said, the easiest thing here is just replace the email account, start a new one, and follow these guidelines. That's the easiest thing here. I'm just informing you on if you want to try to save your email account, do this, put it on warm up, and you should be fine. Right? So that's what happens when you have a low response rate. Now, if the other thing, if you're like, okay, Aaron, well, I did the test on Smart Lead, and I, you know, I did a test on Smart Lead, and I still am not. My emails are still not working, but I'm getting replies. I'm above a 1% reply rate. I'm verifying the emails. My domains aren't blacklisted. I did the test. I'm totally fine. What do I do? Like, I'm sending out all these emails. I'm getting replies, but I'm not really booking any meetings. Like, what do I do here? Well, this is how you can gauge that. First, I want you to calculate this number. So basically, what this is a positive reply to lead ratio. So what I mean is how many emails you have to send out to get a positive response. If this is above 500, then clearly you have a problem, because that just means. And then depending on the industry, it will be high. Like for example, if you're doing email marketing, the e-commerce, this is probably 1,000. But there's still probably ways you could lower this even lower. But what you want is this number to be 2 to 300 or lower, right? Now, again, some industries this is like next to impossible unless you're literally offering free work. Um, like for example, if you're running email marketing and e-commerce, this will probably be 1,000. Like I'm not even right now. Or if you do lead generation, like what I do, cold email lead generation to marketing agencies, this will probably be like 600-700. But either way, if you optimize these things, it will be a little lower than it'll be a little lower than what you have right now, right? So like I said, a positive reply to lead ratio is how many emails are you sending out to get one positive response. That's what I need you to calculate here. And the way you can do this on Smart Lead or even instantly is take a look at how many emails you sent out, divide that by like how many positive responses you got, and then you'll be able to see, okay, I need to send out 500 or 600 emails to get one positive response. Okay, let's do that, right? And if you're not in any industry where it's like it should be like insanely high, and you want to get this lower, here's how you can do that. Or even if you are in an industry that it is insanely high, like email marketing, e-commerce, here's how you can get this lower, right? The biggest thing is the offer itself. And for some of you that are in those tough industries where it is saturated and your target markets, they have seen email marketing, e-commerce multiple times, or they've heard of SEO, or they've heard of Facebook ads, whatever it may be. It's just about positioning. That's pretty much it. It's about positioning and having a different type of offer. So here's what I mean, right? The biggest thing that you can have overall for most of you is just making your offer relevant to the person you're reaching out to, whether it's their job title, whether it's the industry, the tech they use, the competitors, etc., etc., etc. So the biggest way you can make your offer more relevant is just speak on, hey, as the CMO of X company, I'm sure you're dealing with blah 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 problem. Or hey, I saw that you used MailChimp for your email marketing flows. We developed a software that integrates well with MailChimp to help you do blah 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 blah. Or hey, I saw that you're using this software. We have a similar software, but ours is different because we help you save more money, and it's more streamlined, and it's easier to train your team on. That type of thing, right? So you just want to make it as relevant, your offer as relevant as possible for the person that you're reaching out to, right? And the way you can make it more relevant is by doing market research to find their pain points and desires. If you know that email marketing people, or the e-commerce companies who do email marketing, one of their pain points with MailChimp is that, they have to pay extra $700 for abandoned cart flows, then you can go in. Then that's really good market research that you can go into and put that in your email and be like, hey, I know you're probably paying this extra $700 for MailChimp email marketing flows. Here's how we can help you save on that with our software. Blah blah blah. Right? That's just an example. Obviously, that's probably not true, but that's an example that I wanted to give here. But the biggest thing is, again, you have to do market research to find their pain points and desires. You can literally go on You can speak to your current customers and ask them, hey, like, what made you want to work with us? Like, what were the pain points that you were struggling with before working with us? Or what you can do is hop on sales calls with these people and be like, hey, okay, like, what are some pain points you're facing? Like, how are you handling SEO right now, or how are you doing billing right now for your software, whatever it may be, right? And or you can even go to ChatGPT and be like, okay, how are you, you know, based off of these guidelines that are in these types of companies, what are some pain points and desires that they have when it comes to email marketing, when it comes to billing, when it comes to SEO, when it comes to Google ads, when it comes to Facebook ads, whatever it may be. Just do market research by speaking to your target audience. It could be your current customer or people that you just get on calls with, or just going on ChatGPT, and find out their pain points and desires. That way you can make it as relevant as possible to the person you're reaching out to. Remember, your goal when you're sending out cold emails is to make it feel like you really understand the person, and to stand out in the inbox, right? Because everybody's emailing them. Trust me. If especially if it's saturated industries like email marketing to e-commerce, everybody's emailing them. So how can you stand out in the inbox? Well, you make it seem like you really understand them and understand their pain points, understand their desires, and make it seem like, okay, hey, I'm sure you get a ton of these emails a day, but here's how I understand your day-to-day life, and here's how we can solve that problem for you. That's pretty much it. And fundamentally, that's all marketing is. It's just understanding your customer and helping them either solve that pain point or get that desire that they want by using your product or service as a bridge to their solving that pain point or getting that desire. That's all marketing is, and even in cold email, it's the same exact thing. Finally, another thing you could do is offer freebies, lead magnets, and front end offers. So if you have like a free email marketing flow that you can send out or get or design for them, use that. Or if you have like a 2-page case study on how you help somebody in their same niche make $200,000 in 6 months, send it over. And or if you have like, hey, like, I can make your first YouTube thumbnail for you for free. Would you be open to me sending it over? Send it over, right? So just offer freebies, offer lead magnets, offer front end offers, because that will make you send out an inbox. While everybody else is saying, hey, can I send more information? Or hey, let's hop on a call. You're just giving out free work and free value. And that way they'll like that more, because again, it's a pattern interrupt. No one's willing to put in and give out free work. So if you do that, you will immediately send out the inbox and be at the top of their mind of, hey, this email marketing guy is different because he's offering me this free flow, or hey, this person is different because he's offering me this free thumbnail, whatever it may be. So offer freebies, lead magnets, front end offers, and then you'll be able to stand out in the inbox. Now, the biggest takeaway here with offers is, again, and I spelled weather wrong, I think. Did I? Yeah, I did. Okay, no, I didn't. Did I? I look like I did. I'll just leave it. But the biggest takeaway here is you want to make your offer as relevant to them as possible and to their pain point and desires. Again, you want to make it seem like you really understand them and understand who they are and what their day-to-day looks like and what their desires and pain points may be. Whether it's relevant to their job title, industry, certain technology they use, or anything else. Just make sure your outbound message is relevant to them, and that way you'll be able to send out in the inbox, right? And that is the biggest takeaway. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is basically how you solve your cold email problems. Whether you're having an offer problem, whether you're having a deliverability problem, that is how you can solve it, and that is how you can get back in the inbox and start booking more meetings. So, if you found that valuable and you are a B2B business that's making over $30,000 a month, we're currently running an offer right now where we'll book your next 3 demos or calls absolutely for free. But if you're not, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video.